Okay, I'm going to show you how to calculate your waist to hip ratio using a sewing tape measure and a pen. The reason this is important is that when we're trying to improve what's called cardiometabolic health, right? This is the health of your metabolic system, your energy system, your fat system, your muscle system, and your cardio system, which is your heart and your blood vessels, right? The combination of these is called your cardiometabolic system. When we're trying to improve the health of your cardiometabolic system, one of the things that we can use, one of the metrics we can use is body fat percentage. Body fat percentage is something that can be gotten. It's not easy to assess. You can get a DEXA scan, which is a type of x-ray, and they're pretty inexpensive, depending on where you live, insurance, things like that. It could be anywhere between $40 to $120. You can have calipers done to measure your body fat percentage. You can have a type of laser. You can have something called bioimpedance. There's a bunch of different ways. The most accurate is a DEXA scan, but they're not always easy to read. Body fat is great, but we can also use a simple waist to hip ratio. And the caveat is everyone's built differently. Not everyone's ratio is going to be the same for the ideal, but if we're going to select an ideal, the ideal that I aim for myself and that I try to help my clients achieve is a 1-to-1 ratio, where the circumference of your waist is equal to the circumference of your hip. So this is how you assess it. The important thing is make sure that your bladder isn't full, that you've already gone to the bathroom. We're going to measure the waist at the level of the belly button. Some people will do it right at the level of the top of the hip, which is, for some people the same, some people different, but I like to measure it always at the umbilicus for a couple different reasons. But the main reason is because it's a landmark that I can always find. So make sure that when you're doing this, you have the tape, so that way it is snug, but not tight. So if you look at like my love handles, I'm not pulling it tight. The other thing is I'm not cheating, right? I'm not pushing my belly out, nor am I sucking it in, right? What I'm doing is I'm exhaling and then measuring from there, trying to keep the belly as loose and relaxed as possible. There, so I've got 36.5 inches. And now the next thing is, booty time. All right. Come around, find the apex of the butt. Right, this is nice that I've got the camera because it actually makes it easy for me to find. Same thing, we don't want to pull it overly tight. And we also want to make sure that it's level. So here's my booty apex there. I'm gonna hold that. So I'm at 39. So if I'm at 36.5 in the belly and 39, I don't know if this will turn out, but 36.5. No, you can't see that. Anyways, you get the math. Take that waist ratio in your belly, divide that by your hip ratio at your gluteals, and that's going to give you the ratio. What we're shooting for is a minimum of 1-to-1. If you're out of that range, that's an indication that you're storing fat in the subcutaneous tissue. So that's this tissue, right? Which isn't that big of a deal, right? You can have a little bit of a handhold here, and that's not going to indicate too many problems with your cardiometabolic health. The problem happens is when we get fat buildup around our internal organs, right? Around our intestines, pancreas, spleen, all that stuff. And that's where we start to get this, right? And when your belly gets big like this without pushing it out, this is an indication that you've got fat packed in around your internal organs. There's a bunch of problems with this. One, it's having that by itself is going to decrease your testosterone because it's going to send signals. There's these chemicals called cytokines. These are chemical messengers that regulate your metabolism, regulate different aspects of your physiology. When you have an excessive amount of fat around your organs, it actually sends signals to your brain that actually reduces testosterone. The other thing that it does is it sends signals through your cells to make your cells less sensitive to insulin. So I'm sure you've heard of insulin sensitivity or insulin desensitivity. When your cells are less sensitive to insulin, this means that you're going to have higher blood sugar, which is going to indicate that you're moving towards type 2 diabetes if you don't already have it. And the problem is cyclical, right? So you can imagine your testosterone is low, which means you'll have lower muscle mass. You're having fat that's replacing your muscle. You've all seen this when you cut into a prime rib or into a nice cut of meat. You've seen the marbling. Well, that happens to us too. We actually marble. Fat will marble into our gluteal muscles, into our abdominal muscles. In fact, when I was doing pain management and I was treating people that had chronic back pain, I can actually feel fat mass. I could feel these lipomas, these fatty masses around their sacroiliac joints. Here in the back here, I would feel those. And, so basically that indicates to me that their muscles are being replaced by fat. That happens. So what do we do to take care of that? Diet, exercise, sleep, all the things. So anyways, I hope this is helpful. I know we went into a little bit more than just the hip to waist ratio. Also, I have the cheat sheet. I've got the Men's Health cheat sheet. It's got all the stuff. It has all the lab values. It has specific types of exercises. It's got sleep recommendations. It's got everything. And it's 100% free. I've got this information written in there as well with the hip to waist ratio and also different body fat percentages if you want to look at that as well. And I'll have that in the show notes, or you can just go to my website, joshgrainer.com. Okay, ciao.